So I want to ask Rahila, if you can tell us, we talk about stress and we talk about how important it is to make sure that we can recover from stress. But can you tell us a little bit more on how we can declutter and what that looks like for us, and possibly, why it's so important for us to have that to accomplish or achieve work and life balance?
So first of all, thank you so much for hosting this event, and thank you for having all of us here. I really am so glad to be part of this. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, perfect. So I really liked your 3 points. Yeah, take a break, take a break, take a break. That's lovely. So I want to talk to you right now about clutter. Let's go get right into it. So what is clutter? Clutter is, according to the dictionary, it's a collection of things lying around, and it's an untidy mess. However, clutter is not only physical things, it is also mental things. Clutter can be part of your physical space, your mental space, your financial space, and your health space. So when we think of clutter, some of the most common things that come to our mind are physical clutter. And when you think of physical clutter, you it's a collection of things all over the place, but you have to go back and think about why has your physical space become so cluttered? What is it that's causing your physical space to be cluttered? When I work with moms, I work on really four main pillars of clutter, and I just mentioned them a little while ago. Physical clutter, mental clutter, financial clutter, and health clutter. Each of these four pillars actually make up who you are, and it contributes to how you are feeling. When you have physical clutter, it is also affecting your mental health. It is affecting your mental space. It affects your financial space. It affects your health space. And when you have mental clutter, it will affect how you behave with your things around you, your physical space. It will affect how you manage your money. It will affect your health. And of course, we all know that when there's clutter, there's dust that's being spread around, and that affects your health. And it affects your finances as well because you are can't find anything. Your space is so cluttered, and you can't find anything. And mental clutter really holds you back from doing anything. It creates feeling of low self-esteem. It creates a feeling of low productivity, and you just can't get up and do the things that you need to do. And you know that you need to do those things. However, your mental space is so cluttered. There's so many distractions going on in your space that you can't get up and clear out your physical space. You can't get up and really handle how your finances are or how your health is. You will notice that each of these things play into each other. One thing may be amplified in your life. However, all of them affect each other equally. So when I work with moms, that's the four main things that we work on. We start off really figuring out what is going on? Why is your space so cluttered? What is going on? Is it something that's your mindset where you were brought up with certain beliefs? And because mindset is your beliefs or your thought processes that cause you to do certain things, cause you to behave a certain way. So we'll get together, figure those things out. Why is it that your space is being affected? Why is your mental space being affected? Why is your physical space, your financial or your health space being affected? So that's what really clutter is all about. Can't hear you, Latika, you're muted.
It would help.
Yeah, it would help if I knew what you were saying. Absolutely.
So what process do you use to help working moms declutter in those four areas?
So the first thing we do is really just to go over mindset. Mindset is ultimately what propels you forward or really holds you back. We can all learn a million techniques. We can learn techniques from coaches. We can learn techniques from YouTube or from Google. We can learn a million techniques, but ultimately it's your own mindset that is going to either propel you forward or hold you back. So the first thing we ever work on is really figuring out how you feel about your where you are. Are you really willing to make that change? Is clearing up your space really something that you want to do? Is decluttering really something you want to do? And my background is in business as well as in physical therapy. And physical therapy is a healing art and science. And what I have done is I incorporate all four pillars of clutter: physical, mental, financial, and health. And we work on those things. If regarding my background in business, if you've ever noticed a business, some of us run our own businesses over here. Some of us are working moms, we have full-time jobs. And if you notice your environment, your work environment, or your business, a business has to have systems and techniques to be successful. You cannot expect a business to just randomly flourish. It won't happen. You have to implement systems, you have to implement techniques that will help your business ultimately flourish. So what I've done is, using this system that I've created with the four main pillars of clutter, I teach moms how to implement business systems and techniques which have been adapted to fit your household. I teach moms to implement these systems and techniques, and that helps them declutter their physical space, their mental space, their financial space, as well as their health space, and get organized. So I work mostly with moms, but I have helped out dads as well, because dads also run the household. There are some settings where there are dads who are the primary care providers, or they run the household. So I've helped dads as well. But I will work with the mom, and then the mom is responsible for implementing those systems in her household and with her children, with her family. It's so important to get buy-in from the family, from the children, because if everybody is not working together, then we can again learn all the systems and techniques, but nothing's going to work unless there's buy-in from the whole family. And there are times where, we'll bring in the kids to join in, and I'll talk to them and teach them some techniques. We'll bring in the dad, they will learn the techniques as well. But for the most part, the process that I use is really working with the mom and helping the mom get decluttered and organized in her space. And then she in turn does it with the family.
That's awesome. So if we wanted to learn more about you, Rahila, where can we learn more, find more information, maybe schedule a complimentary call with you?
So I'm all over social media, just like a lot of us are. In fact, Abigail was talking to us this earlier and saying that she reached out to all of us through all the social media platforms. So I'm all over. I'm on Instagram. I am on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. My main platform that I use is LinkedIn, and I'm under Rahila James. My blog is called Mommy's Business 101. So my business name and my blog is Mommy's Business 101. And you can reach me on my website as well. There's a link where you can actually schedule a call with me and we can just chat. It's a virtual coffee or a tea, and we can just get to know each other and move on from there. And the website is www.bizmom101.com. So www.bizmom101.com. And you can also reach me through email. My email's on my website as well. So yeah, so many different ways that you can contact me. You keep forgetting to turn on the mic, Latika.
So we have a question. Could you elaborate a little more on how to declutter the mental aspect?
So yes, one of the main things that I really advise all of my moms is to not think that you have to do everything today. Everything does not need to be done today. You can divide the work that you have to do, prioritize, set up your priorities, set up a priority list. And a priority list is not a to-do list. It is things that are absolutely the most important things that you have to do. So set that list up and make sure that you just go through it slowly. You do not have to do everything today. That is one of the main things that I think moms feel that they have to do. They have to do it all today, and they have to do it all by themselves. So if you have somebody who can help you, if you have somebody that you can delegate to, whether it is your older children, sometimes even younger kids love to be given a little bit of responsibility. For example, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she loves to be delegated to. She loves being delegated to. So younger children love delegation as well. So one, don't feel that you have to do everything today. Divide and the work that you have to do, prioritize, and go through your list slowly. Secondly, if you can delegate to somebody, if you have somebody who you can get help from, reach out and get help from, whether it's your kids, whether it's your husband, whether it's family close by, or even if it's hiring somebody to help you out. Just delegate and do those things that way. Don't feel that you have to do everything all at once. And when you have work to do, maybe do it in smaller chunks. Don't feel that you need to do things in big things, and everything has to be done today. Divide your work up and do it in smaller chunks. And that will help just calm you down and help you declutter your mental space. It will help you decrease stress as well. And exercise. I know I was supposed to only give a few, maybe 1 or 2 tips, but I'm going on a little sidetrack. Exercise, people. Exercise also helps you declutter your mental space.
That is so important. That really is. I have found I try to run at least 6 days a week, and I have found that it truly helps. It helps so much to get
Yes.
away and to be by myself, and
Yes.
I'm in such a better place when I come back in the house to deal with mommy, 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 mommy. So
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And it's wonderful that you're so disciplined that you can do it 6 times a week. But in all reality, this is something I tell my clients, I tell my patients as well. You don't have to exercise 6 times a week. If you can do it, that's beautiful. But anywhere between 3 to 5 times a week, or even if you cannot commit to the 5 times, 3 times a week of exercise is good. And it can be weights, it can be cardio, it can be any form of movement, even dancing. That in itself just helps you decrease stress. It helps declutter your mental space.
mhm. That is so true. That is so true. And Rahila's talked about having that, that time, for you to really declutter mentally and physically. But Ro, I want to ask you, with all of that, what does that mean to soar? How does a working mom soar in the midst of all of this chaos that is going on?
Yes, that is the question right now. So, to back up and just reintroduce myself to everyone, I'm an active duty Air Force officer. I've served over 21 years this summer, and I'm also married. I've been married 14 years, and I have 3 young boys aged 12, 9, and 6. July is our big birthday month. And I was busy before COVID. And then COVID happened, and it seems like everything just multiplied in a way that I wasn't prepared for. I don't know who was prepared for, and it keeps evolving and changing with each day. It's almost something different. And what I realized before COVID is that several women were approaching me and asking me, well, how are you doing it, Roseanne? How are you coming to work every day, having it together, and then your marriage and your kids? And I would give them platitudes like, oh, you just get up, you just do it, everybody's doing it, you can too. And I realized that that was really an insufficient answer. So I went on a journey of a year and really just started interviewing women all around me, all of us, like the women in the circle, and saying, well, how are you doing what you're doing? And in the end, I realized that there were 4 commonalities among us all. And it was to soar. So it's SOAR. S is you need support. And we've already talked a little bit about that and how important it is. And then 2, you need organization. Again, something we've talked about a little bit there. Continuing to aspire, you have to continue to want for your family, to want for yourself. And we're going to hear a little bit more about that today too. And the last one is resilience. And that is what we talked a little bit about here, is taking care of yourself and making sure that you're thinking of your own well-being so that you can care for yourself and your family. So today I want to talk a little bit about support because I feel like it's the most important one in the COVID time. And what it is that we really have to recognize where we need support, in what aspects of our life, and then be willing to reach out and get it. So for today, I came up with the term win. I wrote an article on LinkedIn and really got to me. It was titled, Women Don't Let COVID Win. Because right now there's a lot of articles out about how much women are taking on during this time, how much more work we're doing, how much more stress we have. And I feel like, especially with schools shutting down this fall, it's attacking women. It's attacking our sense of who we are, what we do, what we can accomplish, how we spend our time, our day. And so my answer to that is that we need to win. And the W should be what? We need to identify what is causing us stress. What is the problem? What is the issue? What is holding us back? And then the I is identify solutions. And then the N is now. And that is our action step. So like for me, I have to go to work every day. So I need to figure out my W, my what is, but most of my husband and I have to work. What are we going to do with our kids? That's our number 1, our problem. Then 2, with the I, identify. We need to figure out who in our community, who in our neighborhood, what services, what programs are available that can help us. And then N is I've got to be able to get out of my comfort zone and ask for the help that I need. I need to be able to implement the solutions so that I can win, because I need to continue to be at work so that I can continue to aspire and I can continue to provide for my family, and we can do the things that we want to do. So Latika, if there's anything else you want me to talk about, I can do that, or we can move on.
Unmute. Yeah, we can go ahead. Go ahead. That was really great. The poll, you want to do the poll?
Oh, we can do the poll. I put 3 questions out to kind of get a feel for, people I've been interacting with, which is the reason why I ended up writing the article, is that we do.
Oh, you went on mute.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. There we go. I think the poll questions really get at the win concept. And are we okay identifying what our problem is, stating it, that W, identifying it, and then can you reach out and ask for help? Because everyone needs to help each other right now. That's the time and phase of life that we're in, and we need to all be comfortable with it. And to read more about me, my book, how I'm helping people, what I'm doing, you can go to togethersoaring.com. It's www.togethersoaring.com, because that's the goal. All together, we need to soar. I want to win, and I want my husband to win, and I want my family to win. So together, we all want to, win, to make it, and definitely get through this COVID phase in one piece, and not just, as we've talked about, survive, but also thrive through this time. There are people who are gonna, maybe work out more now, or they're gonna read more books, or they're gonna find something to make them better. And so there's always a way to win through a situation. You just have to find out what it is, identify what it is, and then be willing to act on it and ask for the help or implement your solution. So I hope that you all join me, we all join together, and continue to win and together soar.
Yeah, so I'm going to put this poll up. So if you guys can just take a moment to answer the questions for the poll. And as you are doing that, we'll have a minute to answer those questions. But as you are doing that, Ro, I want to talk more about the support, because Ro and I, we live in DMV, in the DC metropolitan area, and it's a little rough to get support. It's a little rough. And, we may not have family, nearby. So what do you do in those cases when you don't have family that you trust nearby to support you? And like you have to go back to work, your husband has to go back to work, and the kids, there's nothing for them to do. What do you do?
So I encourage everyone to really examine your life, your circumstances, your situation, because we all have support structures that are around us. We may just not reach out to them. My neighbors are always willing to help. When my kid gets locked out, they know to go next door. So my neighbor is a willing participant. They're on soccer teams, and all the soccer moms are in the same boat. I have no problem asking one, hey, can you take Mason to soccer on Tuesday? I'll take your son on Wednesday. I mean, that's a form of help, like the barter system. You do some, I'll do some, and then sometimes we're in these Facebook groups or these other networks. And if you really raise your hand and ask, people are willing to help. And I find it even more so right now with COVID. There's so much going on with how we're going to educate these kids this fall. Where are they going to be all day? Just how are we going to do that? There's a lot of people popping up with answers that, you wouldn't have known were there before, or are really extending a hand. And you just have to be willing to put yourself out there and ask for it.
Yes, that is so important. I tell you, I probably won't move at all in my lifetime, because the support system I have right here on my street and in my neighborhood is incredible. And I know I can't get that anywhere else. I have so many close people. They're not even friends. They're family members, that we've called family members, right here across the street from me, 3 doors down from me. And if anything, Ro, and Sadija and Lanisha, coming from DC and coming into the suburbs on 2 wheels to make it to the bus stop on time, to be at the daycare before 6 o'clock, I am calling one of them saying, hey, can you meet my kids at the bus stop? Can you get them from daycare? So it's so important. And I love what Rahila said. She said, we have to ask. You know, we just have to do it. And this time, this is where community is so important. And we have to rely on community in order for us to soar.
And
Really.
I'll add one more thing too. You know, as an active duty military person, we move around and move into communities where we don't know people. And another thing I encourage moms to think about is just pay for the support you need.
True.
Sometimes you just need to pay for it, or you need to, as was previously said, prioritize. You know, maybe I can offload doing something else so I can shift and focus to be able to give that support. You need to look at your whole situation and determine what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. One of the comments said, when we see a mom that seems to be struggling, we need to reach to them and ask them how we can help them, which is so important. It really, really is important. Community.
Yes.
We can't do this alone. We cannot do this alone. So,
And we shouldn't. I mean, it was never designed to be done alone. I mean, it's just a different name of community or a different name of family. You know, we all are on this planet together. We're all here together, and we're all women who want to raise our families together. So we can do it if we, you know, lock arms together with each other and support.
absolutely, absolutely. So we got one comment that said, paying is good. She said, I had to be okay with paying for house cleaning and realize that it didn't make me a bad mom or less of a woman. It's just so much. Which
I'll add one comment to that. You know, for me, I wrote about it in my book too, is that it really bothered me to have to want to pay for someone to clean my house because it made me feel like I was inferior or I couldn't do all these things. But what really got to me was then when my youngest was 4, he wanted me to play with him. And I said, no, I can't play with you. Mommy's cleaning. And I was like, well, that's just dumb. You know, that is my priorities all out of whack. I can pay for someone to clean the house so I can take that time and spend it with my son because I am out working during the day. And that was it for me. That was the trigger where I'm like, someone else can do that. And I take my time and devote it to my kids when I have it. Some people will get that in life and some people won't. And I've just decided that it doesn't bother me anymore because it's what works for my family.
Right. That's so important. And you guys make sure you check out Sydney Johnson. Moms overwhelmed, overworked. She has, as she mentioned in her video, membership plans, and part of the services is house cleaning. She will definitely hook you up. So make sure you check out Sydney's, she gave you her website. I'll make sure you guys have it, in email, her website and all of her social media platform to really take advantage of the membership program she has to give you guys the services you need so you can spend time with your family. You can take a break by having someone else do it for you. And it doesn't mean that you're less than or you're not this or you're not that. It just means that, like Rose said, you know your priorities, and your priorities are your family. Someone else can clean the house. Someone else can mop the floor. You know, someone else can do the landscaping. You know, someone else can do all that stuff. You know, someone else can do your laundry. You know, so it's so important that we really, as Rose said, those priorities are so, we got to make sure that we prioritize what is important, which is our family. So thank you, Rose. Thank you so very much. And tell us how we can get your book.
Yes, so the best way to get my book, which I have right here, is you can go to togethersoaring.com and purchase it there or on Amazon. Going to my website is the best way to get a hold of me. At the bottom, you'll see all of my other social media platforms that you can click on. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can follow along. I always post about my life and the interesting things that tend to happen to me and others. So that's the best way to get a hold of me is www.togethersoaring.com.
Thank you. Thank you, Abigail, for putting the website up as well. Sydney Johnson is here in the DC metropolitan area, but she has resources nationwide. So she can give you list of resources and things like that nationwide. So with us learning now that we need support, we need organization, we need to aspire, and we need resilience, we need that not just in our life, but we need that in our career. So Tara, tell us how in a moment like this, we can navigate and thrive in our careers while we're sitting at home.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. The first thing that I emphasize with my moms and I'm coaching them is to have a really strong communication channel with your colleagues and your boss about what you need. And the structure I use a lot, and I used in my corporate career, was you present the issue to your colleague or your boss, you give them a potential solution, and you offer feedback. So for an example of what we're going through, if you know that your sales meeting is at Thursday at 1 o'clock, and now going into the fall, that's when your son has math, and that's not going to work. So you say to your boss, I know that we have our sales meeting at 1 o'clock, but I can't attend that because my son has mandatory math, and these classes are now mandatory at Thursday at 1 o'clock. However, I'm sure there's a lot of people in our team who are going to have different schedules now going into the fall. What are your thoughts on having a poll of what's the most convenient time for everybody to have our weekly sales meeting? So you've taken the initiative, you've communicated the problem, but instead of just saying there's a problem here, you come fix it, you've now presented a possible resolution and you're asking for feedback. And I have found that when you use that, especially today, it's helpful for your, especially if you have performance evaluations, to show that these are really tough times, but you're taking initiative, you're being creative, you're finding ways to keep business going and to keep being a part of a team while you're not in the same office, while we're doing different things with different schedules and all the way around. So as long as you're being your own advocate, which is how I encourage my moms to aspire in their careers, is keep being your own advocate, keep communicating what you need. And if you have the right environment, the right structure at your job, you'll get where you need to go.
That is so important, that communication, having that, you have to have it. You really, really have to have it. One of the things that I was telling moms at the very onset of us being at home is, making sure you have that schedule and then plugging that schedule into your Outlook calendar at work. So, it may sound a little crazy, but when, like me, I have so many kids and everybody has their own, Microsoft Teams meeting here, Zoom meeting here, and, whatsoever, and you have your own meeting, a lot of times your supervisor or colleagues, they'll look on your Outlook calendar to see when you're available for a meeting. And you don't want to set yourself up where your kids need your attention for their, their own meeting, and you have your meeting. That's where stress comes in. So I've been telling moms, put it on your Outlook calendar. So when your supervisor or your colleagues, are looking in your calendar to see when you are available for a meeting, they know you are not available at this time. So, you can mark it privately, mark whatever the thing is that you have to do with your kids privately, or you can just say, hey, I'm offline at this time, and put it in your calendar, time blocking, but put it in your calendar so that you're not stressed trying to do everything at the same time. But that is another form of communicating without communicating when you are available to do your work. We're getting paid to work, but at the same time, hey, we're in a pandemic. you got to do what you have to do, you know, and we're juggling so many things at the same time. So that communication is so important. That is so important, so important. So thank you for that. Do you have any other tips for moms on, you know, how they can really, you know, let's say they want to reach for that promotion, they want to apply for that promotion. What tips do you have for them as they're at home and they may not think that it's a wise decision to apply for that promotion because they're at home and they know if they get a new job, they're going to have their kids in the background?
Right. And that's a tricky position because everyone's going to have different evaluations of what they're looking for, and companies, you know, may not be looking to do promotions. But if you feel like you are in a position where you can have that conversation, highlight something unique that you've been able to do in this time period that maybe on the onset you thought was not going to be possible. Like if you are in sales and you always did in-person visits, and you can't you couldn't do that now in COVID, but instead you say, but you know what, now I've spoken to that client 3 times a week now because I don't have to drive. We've spoken, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday now for a half an hour instead of the 2 hours we would meet on Wednesday. And now they've, you know, upselled on some products, or now I've gotten 2 other referrals from that. So something where you turned a negative into a positive, because that would show the upper management that you are being creative and you're thinking about how to improve the business and then increase more sales, because that's what the other positions are going to look for. You need to be thinking in that mindset. And if you show an example like what I just described, that would say that, you know, hey, you know, that's really great. You know, maybe they're not in a position financially to do any promotions, but when they do, they know that you're creative and being innovative, and they'll think of you before they look at somebody else.
Absolutely. That is so important. Now, tell us more about your ebook.
Yeah, so I wrote an ebook about how I developed my own schedule for my kids who are both in younger school. So I have a first grader and a preschooler, and how I divided up my schedule, doing full-time job, actually having to physically teach and be with them, but then also have our own separate, you know, quiet time, my own separate mom time, and then playtime that was less school oriented. And that was really helpful. And what really made it helpful for me was devoting time outside of the workday to do things in the morning or in the evening, because then, like as you mentioned, Latika, when you say from 2 to 4 I'm not available, but then you submit other work and say, hey, you know, I finished this proposal at 6 a.m. this morning, so even though I can't be there for the meeting, you have a proposal, so you've still contributed to the meeting you can't attend because you've done it outside of the normal work hours. So that's what worked for me, was being able to schedule that time in and out of the normal workday because I was home.
Mm-hmm. That is really good. Really good. Melissa was saying that she uses her older kids to help the younger kids. So
That's great.
yes, that is. She has a class schedule on a dry erase board every day, and her 9-year-old helps his younger sister get on her online class on time. So that is, Melissa, that is awesome because you're teaching your son independence. You know, you're teaching your son a lot of stuff for taking, you know, by taking care of his sister, making sure that his sister is making sure she's online on time, but at the same time it's giving you a break, allowing you to focus on something else while you know that, you know, your children are good. Awesome. Awesome. And Melissa also said, I negotiated a raise by changing my schedule back to full time because I no longer had to factor in a 2-hour commute.
There you go. See, it's that being innovative and creative and using your schedule to the fullest potential. Absolutely.
That's really good, Melissa. Very, very good. Very good. So thank you so much, Tara. And I will say also that Tara is also known as the benefits mom. So what did you say? If it benefits mom, it benefits everyone?
You got it.
Yes. So I added Tara's website. So make sure you go check out Tara. And Abigail has made sure that you guys had all the websites of all of the ladies. So make sure you check out Abigail's messages so that you can get those websites and information on everyone. So let's switch subjects, because we're talking about, making sure we have the support. We talked about, mental and physical clutter and how to, get rid of that. We talked about recovering from stress, but what about us? What about self-care? So Abigail, I want you to talk to us a little bit more on self-care. What is it, and how can we prioritize self-care?
So, hi, thank you so much for having me. For those of you who didn't hear, I've joined from the UK. It's now 1:30 in the morning here, AM Saturday. So happy Saturday to me, woohoo! So just to give you a bit of background as to why this is all relevant, because otherwise you'll be like, why the F should we listen to this girl? I don't have children, let's be clear from the start. But the reason I don't have children is because I used to work in finance, and I worked in finance for over 10 years in investment management, asset management, and hedge funds. And 8 years ago, on the 25th of February, 2012, I went on a work business trip to the US. This was like my third ever visit to the US. I've been to New York, I've been to Dallas randomly, and then I went to Boston on this work business trip. And it was supposed to be a 5-day trip there. My friend collected me from Boston Airport. I stayed at her parents' house on the Friday night. We had dinner with her family on the Saturday morning. We woke up, normal Saturday morning, February, in Boston, and I had a really bad headache, which wasn't sort of unexpected. I had, flown business class, first time ever, so drunk a bit on the plane. But fast forward 24 hours later, I was in the hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, General Hospital, being woken up by a doctor who told me that I'd actually had a stroke.
Wow.
So I was 32 at this time. So this was 8 years ago. So the last 8 years has really kind of been a journey from almost dying and living a certain kind of life to then realizing, okay, we're all going to die, right? Well, you kind of knew that, but now you really know that. So what actually really matters and why? And the fundamental thing for me that I took away from all of it is the only thing that matters is our time. How we spend it, who we spend it with, and how we feel. So I was like, right, I am now going to dedicate my life to helping people however I can to get that in order. So I wrote this book about time management for entrepreneurs, and I was sort of going on the whole circuit, selling the book and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that people were just like, I don't really care. Like, I want more time, but I don't want to do all that stuff. It's really boring. So then I started talking about this thing called the 888 formula, which they were then suddenly interested in, because your life is divided into these 3 pillars. If you're good at maths, you will kind of get this quite quickly. 24 divided by 3 is 8, 8, 8. Now, science says we need to sleep between 7 and 9 hours, let's call it 8. Society says we need to work 8 hours. So then what's left is our life. This middle bit is like the jam in the 888 sandwich. Where I'm going with all of this is, if we're not happy with our life, we have to look at, are we getting enough sleep? We are over emotional when we don't sleep enough, and it affects our health, it affects our sanity, it affects so many things. If we're working too much, then it's a recipe for a burnout. And then ultimately, this is your life. This is why we're here. This is the thing that we all fritter away, negotiate, Instagram scroll, Facebook scroll, worry about what the neighbour's doing. And I'm just like, who gives a, am I allowed to swear? Who gives a crap? Because this is your life. So now you've got the foundation and why I care, then let me tell you about self-care and why self-care is so important. And I've got another prop. My dad's made all these for me, by the way, so sweet. Self-care starts 8 minutes a day. So the biggest thing that people will say is, I don't have enough time. I want you to recognize that it can be as little as 8 minutes a day that you do something for yourself. And these somethings can be going for a walk, doing some HIIT class, because HIIT doesn't have to be long. You know, you could do some squats, some dips, some pull-ups, push-ups, whatever you want to do, like while the kettle's boiling, and you could do like 4 minutes at a time, 4 minutes at a time. Meditate. You can listen to guided meditations, read a book, do some journaling, do some gratitude. There are so many things, like do some gardening, and I'm sure there's all sorts of bits and bobs that you're already doing. So I've got a few survey questions for you, which are kind of like, do you have a self-care routine? How often do you practice your self-care? And on average, how many hours do you think you're working a day? Because I think all of these things kind of impact into it all. But if you can just start to say to yourself, I've got 8 minutes, like you go to the loo, let's not be too crude, but you go to the loo, it's probably about 8 minutes. You don't say, well, I don't have time for that. You clean your teeth. You don't say consistently, oh, I don't have time for that. Maybe the odd day or two, like the teeth forget to be cleaned, but you make time for it. You make time for the things that are essential. But your health, your happiness, your mental health, your ability to be a nice human is what is like super essential. So for me, it's about the 888, understanding that if you're out of balance, then which of the 8s is out of balance, and then that self-care can literally be 8 minutes a day. And you can break it up. You can do 8 seconds if you want to get started. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. So that's my kind of stuff in a nutshell.
Yes, that is so awesome. I love the fact that you said it just takes 8 minutes for self-care. Just 8 minutes. That's so incredible. 8 minutes. And we had Sydney saying that she takes a shower and locks the door just to be by herself. You know, which is it. I tell you, with kids with multiple, I mean, with us with these multiple kids, I don't know why they decide they want to come in the bathroom while we're taking a shower. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't. Like, y'all have each other to go play with. Why are you coming in here? Can I just have a moment? I tell my kids all the time, let me be great. Just one time, let me be great, please. But it's so important. So yes, it is so awesome. Yes, just one more.
And if you want to do more than 8 minutes, I'm not going to stop you. And just as a little teaser to tell you guys, but I haven't really told too many people publicly, so don't tell anybody. I'm working on my next book, and it is going to be about the 8 minutes. So it might be called something like The 8 Minute Secret.
That's awesome, Abigail.
But yeah, we haven't decided on the title, but that will be coming out in October in time for Christmas. Because I want to get more people sort of new year, new routine. I mean, we might be doing it from home, but at least.
Yes, absolutely. That is so important. Oh my goodness. We had some really great responses with the.
I love that. I don't feel guilty giving them a fruit snack while I take a shower. You got to do what you got to do. And like, if you've got the kids, and that's sort of the big thing, if you've got a partner, if you've got a job, it's literally about do what you got to do.
Yep, absolutely. Yes, Sydney said #real mom moments. Yes, I think we all as moms can say we've done that, giving them a snack and said, y'all go sit down while I go over here. Yes, you really have to do what you have to do to get that time in for yourself, because if you don't, you will just go crazy.
And the thing is, how we do one thing is how we do everything. So it will be a pattern in your life that you've got a demanding boss, a demanding partner, demanding children. You have to put the boundaries in yourself. And so I teach my clients, you don't go anywhere or do anything till you've given yourself 8 minutes. And if that means that you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You just do it. And then in time, it starts to become who you are, and your life will change. And then it's not a drag, it's just who you are.
Right. It becomes your routine. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I really, really do. So, you know, with all that we've learned tonight, sometimes it's impossible to create your own work and life balance, meaning, you know, you have this schedule, you share it with your supervisor, you communicate with him or her about, you know, what you need, especially in this time. You would think that people would be empathetic, sympathize, you know, say, don't worry about it, I know your kids are there, you know, I got kids too. No. People are, supervisors, employers are like, no, you need to hush your kids. You need to go into another room. Can't your kids be quiet? I mean, it's just the craziness that we as women, I think Rose said this at the onset, there's so much pressure on us. There's so much pressure on us. And sometimes we just can't the job. So we had to create our own work and life balance. So Abigail, how do we go about creating our own work and life balance?
I love that you asked me this question. Now, everything I tell is like the truth from somebody, or things that I do. I don't teach stuff that doesn't work, right? So this girl said to me, this was like before everything. So imagine they work in a big tower block. So in London, we've got this place called Canary Wharf, and the tower blocks are really tall. Maybe they have them in your cities. So it can take like 10 minutes to get to the top in the elevators. Obviously now 3 people in a mask, it's going to take half the day. But before this, so it would take them so long to go out to go for a walk at lunchtime. So she said, just what I decided to do was go to the toilets, the bathroom, go to the cubicle, which, because it was a nice new building, was quite a decent sized cubicle. And she said, I just squat. And we were like, what? She said, yeah, I do squats. I go there like every hour, every couple of hours, and I do some squats. And then I go to the bathroom, obviously, because I'm there, I may as well. But she's like, I do 10 squats every time. And so then all her colleagues were like, really? And then they were sending me private messages on LinkedIn. I started squatting in the bathroom cubicle too. So it quite literally is like, do it when you can do it. And there's so many meditations that are 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You don't have to do a super long one, and it doesn't have to be the perfect temperature and you're wearing the right clothes and yada yada. The thing with meditation is all you're doing is silencing your mind. And even if you silence your mind for 30 seconds, it will still have a result. Because here's a bit of science. I'm not a brain scientist, but I study quite a lot of brain scientists. Your brain is either in fight or flight, or rest and digest. We've probably heard these things before. If it's in fight or flight, which it kind of is quite a lot at the moment because we're in a pandemic and we're all a bit worried about what's going on, so we're kind of in a fear thing, then what it's doing is there's an alarm going off in your head. And the alarm that's going off in your head is so noisy that all of your decisions are irrational decisions. You can't think. You've got this fog. Everybody's talking about the corona fog. It's because the alarm's going off. So meditation helps you silence the alarm so you go into rest and digest. if you don't think that the reason to be in rest and digest is important, let me just tell you, rest and digest is when your body's processing your food. In simple terms, that means if you're in fight or flight, your body is retaining weight. If you're in rest and digest, your body's losing weight. If you want to lose weight, try meditating. And don't quote me on that. Do your own research, but there's a lot to say that it does really help reset your body, reset the alarm. So this is why I'm researching, because I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Any old thing to lose a couple of pounds. If I can meditate, I'm going to blink into it.
That's awesome. Tara, what do you think?
I think that what's important when you're looking for the balance is to be okay when you're not in balance. So the analogy I give to my moms is picture that you're on a seesaw. And when you're on a seesaw, there are times where you're low on one side and you're high on the other side. So if you're teaching your kids, then you're going to be higher on the home life because you're teaching your kids. So you're not going to go to that meeting. You're going to have to work on that project at night. Or if you are on a call and your kids are, watching YouTube or doing another activity and you're not there, then you're more higher on the work side. But you have the ability to then go back to the neutral position of the seesaw when you're not heavy on one side or the other. So what I try to tell them is it's okay if you're, pushing more on one side or the other. But what I try to help them get to is that then you are able to reset and leave either the home part or the work part and be able to come back and feel balanced, that you can go back and do what you need to do, because it's not going to be a perfect balance, it's not going to be the perfect time every time. I'm sure everybody on this call has been interrupted on a Zoom call by their kids. I've had my 4-year-old sit with me on calls before. So you don't have all the right answer all the time, but just being able to know that you can come back to that center and be calm, that's what I strive to help my moms get to.
Absolutely. That's
amazing. And just to add into that is that every day is the reset.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to wait for a Monday, and you don't need to wait for the 1st of January. Just go to bed and be like, okay, I did the best I could today, reset. And literally you say that in your head. And if it helps to press the side of your head, imagine like the brain is a computer anyway, reset.
Right. Absolutely.
And just new day,
Yeah.
new day, new leaf, and don't bring the yesterday into the next day.
Absolutely. One of the things that I have as a reminder for myself is to make imperfect progress each and every single day. So at 7 o'clock every morning, I have an alarm going off telling me make imperfect progress. That is my reset. That is my restart for the day. Yesterday did not go well. I didn't do this. I yelled at the kids. I snapped at my husband. Well, today, Lord forgive me, it's a new day. You gave me new grace and mercy. I'm gonna take that new grace and mercy and just start on a new day. Yes, absolutely. So it's you guys have been giving really great insight thus far. Allison said, and I'm laughing at her because she knows she can't be doing this, but she said that if she wasn't on camera, she would be doing squats right now. We don't need her to be doing squats because
I don't want to see this 7th-month pregnant person doing squats right now. I promise that.
we don't need that. We do not need that. Oh my goodness. But Allison, when we talk about all of this, we're at home in the midst of this storm. We're in the midst of this storm, this pandemic, and we're not, like Melissa had said, she's not commuting 2 hours. We're not commuting. We're not spending money on gas. We're not spending money on daycare or as much money as we were before. Maybe school tuition, we're not spending as much money as we were before. What do we do with the extra money that we have?
Yeah. No, it's a really good question. And I'd love to just step back 1 second and just thank all the other women on here that have spoken. You guys have given me so much inspiration in a short, hour that I wish I had before I had kids, when I was just a boss before a mom boss, and didn't have to kind of go through those internal struggles that, like Latika had mentioned in the beginning, finding and refinding yourself after kids and trying to figure out who you were as a mom and a working mom. And I would love to challenge everyone on the call after we hang up here in a few minutes, text someone who's a mom and just tell them they're doing a good job and give them some kind of tip from tonight. And some, even if it's do squats, right? Just some kind of tip from tonight to say, I sat on this really inspiring call. You're doing a great job. And remember, blah, blah, blah. And I think you'll feel good. They'll feel good. And you can go into the weekend feeling great. But to get back to your question, I work with my clients a lot on money management and savings, because as a financial advisor, the biggest thing, and I ask people, what keeps you up at 2 a.m. when you wake up and you roll over and your husband's snoring and you're thinking about what to make for your kids for lunch the next day? What else is keeping you up from a financial standpoint? And I would say 90% of the time it's savings. I don't have enough savings, or I don't make enough money to have enough savings, or I don't know where my money goes. I'm working so much and I get my paycheck and I turn around and the money's gone. And what am I doing wrong? And as bad as COVID has been, the one thing has been people have a little bit more time to sit down with their finances and sit down and take a look at their numbers. And I would say that knowing your numbers is the most important thing you can do for your own personal finances. I can't tell you the amount of people I ask, how much money do you spend a month? Simple question, right? How much money do you spend a month? And most people don't know. And they know how much they make. They know how much they might save or how much in their savings account, but they don't know how much they spent. And it's really those three things that make your financial world go round. You make money, you save money, you spend money. So knowing how much you spend will empower you to save more. Once you start digging into those line items of your credit card and seeing what you're spending, you can start to say, this isn't necessary, or I didn't realize I was spending that much on XYZ. So I would say, sit down, make it fun. Sit down with your husband, make him a cocktail, you pour your glass of wine, and you start going through those credit card statements, and you see, what am I spending on? What did we spend on last year, or 3 months ago, or 6 months ago before this pandemic started? And are we really saving more or spending less? And if so, what are we doing with that savings? Most people probably are just spending it on something they bought on Amazon or something superficial that they really didn't need. And that savings could be going into the future daycare funds. They could be going into, if you're an expecting mom, diapers. You don't realize how much diapers cost. They could be going into other financial products like investments or life insurance or other things that we all know we should be doing. College savings, retirement savings, but we don't think we have enough money to do it. It's taking a couple steps back, realizing what you do in your financial world on a daily basis, and then planning for the things that are really important. Because I'm sure everyone on the call would agree the most important thing to everyone is that your kids are taken care of from a financial aspect. Whether we're here or if unfortunately we're not anymore, that they're being taken care of. So how do we do that? And it starts now.
Absolutely. Lanisha said, "Ooh, Allison, I'm going to need a bottle of wine to get rid of my Amazon charges each month."
Amazon is a killer. I don't know, Amazon and Starbucks, those two are the ones that come up the most, right?
Yes, I would definitely say Amazon is crazy. Oh my goodness. It's yeah. But I'm proud, but Allison, you would be proud of me. I spoke to you, 2 weeks ago? I have not purchased anything from Amazon in 2 weeks.
That's great. Good job. Yeah, I hope everyone, the next time you're about to click on that one-click purchase, you're like, do I need this? Right? Do I need it?
I know. Yeah, I talked to Allison and she was like, we really need to take a step back and, really look over everything. And I was like, oh, Lord Jesus. So I really had to like, okay, yes, I want this. I'm going to keep it in my shopping cart because I don't really need this. So it's just going to sit here.
Right. And eventually you'll get over it. Eventually you'll realize you didn't actually need it in the first place.
Oh, yes. This is hilarious. Sydney said that she feels guilty because she just purchased outdoor lights as we were talking. Oh my goodness. Melissa says she has to get real with her Amazon habit. Yes, that thing is addictive. Oh my goodness. Yes, Rahila says, I tell my clients needs versus desires and wants.
Yes. And I always believe in rewarding yourself too, right? Like kind of like Abigail and really everyone on the panel has said, you do like that's part of self-care as well, investing in yourself, rewarding yourself. But after you make sure your family's taken care of and after you make sure you're saving and you have that 3 to 6 months, there was no better time than what had just happened in the last 6 months, at least in the US, and I'm sure in the UK as well, Abigail. How many people are out of work and how many people got furloughed and people who never thought they could lose their job. They thought they had the most secure job in the world. And that day they got that call, I'm sure the first thing they did was check their bank account and say, do I have enough and how long do I have before I need to panic? So if you have that 6 months, feel free to go buy outdoor lights on Amazon. But until then, think about saving a little bit more.
Yes. Melissa said she took her commuting savings of $800 per month to pay down debt, which made her feel like she was adulting. That is incredible. Yes. Congratulations. I know a weight was lifted because when you get to pay off debt, that's just like you go into a praise dance because it's just like, oh my goodness, I don't have to worry about this anymore. This is gone. So that is awesome, Melissa. Congratulations. That is really, really awesome. So I want to ask this question. How many kids does everybody have? Can you put it in the chat? And while we're doing this, Allison, what suggestions do you have on investing?
Yeah, so again, it's a balanced investment. I think for growing young families, we have a lot of time to see investments flourish, right? If you've been saving in your retirement and you saw a huge dip in the market in March when all of that occurred, you may have gotten very nervous. Don't panic. Those types of investments are long-term investments. They will come back. But like I said, with savings, you also need to have that less risky liquid savings available for times like we just experienced where there might be a job loss, there may be an illness or a sickness. I've gotten more calls on life insurance and disability insurance since this virus has come about because young, healthy people who didn't think that could happen to them are now watching the news and seeing that no one's safe, right? And I don't want to be, an alarmist or scary here, but from a financial aspect, it's very scary. So it doesn't take much to protect yourself from protecting your income, really. It doesn't take much to be able to do that. So, from an investment standpoint, always be just like your work-life balance. You want to stay balanced. Have a liquid fund. Have some stake in the market because you will see that can be beneficial as well. And then, of course, protecting your income through different types of insurance, just like we do with health and auto insurance. We should protect our income and our lives and make sure that our children are always going to be taken care of.
Absolutely. And how can we get in touch with you to have a complimentary call?
Absolutely. I'm going to put my email in here. That's the best way to get in touch with me. And then you can also find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Yes, definitely get in touch with Allie, our dear friend. She is so knowledgeable, y'all. She is so knowledgeable and she will really put you in the right step forward. So definitely, she put her email address there. So definitely, please check her out. If you registered early, you received a little bio of her and her contact information. So definitely, I'll make sure to resend those emails to everyone, so you have everyone's contact information and bio. So I asked you to put in how many children you have. And we have a lot of blended families. Awesome. Yes, I am a blended family, and I'm a product of a blended family. So yes, blended families are awesome. But it appears that myself, Laverne, and Rahila have the most amount of kids. So I'm going to say that out of the three of us, Laverne, you win a free training. You are able to come to our workshop next Friday. It is a $57 value to A Mom's New Way. And this is a workshop to help you in the midst of this storm as we are balancing what we're going to do in the next month when school starts on August 31st. So I will give you all those details, and you can join us next Friday, the 31st. So congratulations on that. Yes, congratulations. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. It really was incredible. And just the tips that we got from everybody, it's just incredible. And as Allison said, make sure that you tell somebody, even now, as late as it is or as early as it is, say something to somebody now about what you learned. If you want to use social media, hashtag Real Talk and hashtag Visionary Initiatives, so that everyone knows that you came to this event today. But I also wanted to say that on the onset, I talked about the program Navigate and Thrive. This program is a 30-day accelerator program to help you literally navigate and thrive in this chaos that we're in. In this program, you'll learn how you can use the Boss Mom Foundation and then also reassess what's working and what we need to get done to work, so that you can do your job, navigate your job, be a great mom, take care of your home, and then also be the loving wife to your husband, because we can't forget about those husbands. They are our providers, they are our protectors, and we have to make sure that we spend time with them as well. So this 30-day program is really going to help you navigate and thrive, really help you plan and redirect how you're going to enhance or actually address balance in a time where it is needed the most. I am hosting a complimentary introductory session on this Sunday. So if you are interested in attending this complimentary coaching session, it is Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please type in the comments Thrive, and I will be sure to send you all the details so that you can attend this complimentary session. And again, it's a 30-day program to really help you plan and redirect how you're going to balance this thing, this thing of working from home, of working, with your children, make sure they're accelerating in their, academics, spending time with your husband, managing the house, all without trying or without feeling like you're going to lose it, honestly. So I welcome you to join this program on Sunday, and it's complimentary, and you'll just get a sneak peek of what it is to learn how you can navigate and thrive in this season. So I thank you again for joining. Sydney, did you have any comments or closing remarks? Sydney, you're on mute. Okay, we'll come back to Sydney, but I thank you all for joining. Thank you so much for joining Allison and Tara and Abigail and Ro and Rahila. I really appreciate you guys being a part of this. Abigail, I appreciate you staying up late at night and joining us.
I couldn't do it.
It's 2 a.m. now.
Yeah, go to bed.
Yes, Sydney, you want to, you have last minute words? You're on mute.
Can you hear me? I had to mute my background because my family is not, is not, I haven't trained them for Zoom meetings yet. But I'm so excited to meet everyone, and I'm so excited for everyone who went in, you know, and I see these comment section. I mean, I'm just enjoying all of this mommy time because I don't get to talk to so many moms and really feel authentically and just feel warm in the inside. But I just want moms to know that's in this group. Membership for Overworked Moms is a monthly membership that allows moms to pick from all types of services. So I have a financial advisor. I also have LLC consultings for those moms who want to start that business. I have massages. If you just want to take that more than 8 minutes, right? If you want to take that 60 minutes and get you that extended service, you can get that. I also have virtual chef classes that I'm offering. So if you want to spend that time with your child and have that time with your family and come up with new menu items, because COVID, we're cooking so much. My grocery bill is crazy. And I have so many services. So if you guys can reach out, and also you can find me on Moms QS on IG and Facebook. And then my website is www.momsqs.com. And it explains to you the different packages of Rose Gold, which is the quick packages for express services. And then the extended packages was the Purple Platinum. And I'm so excited to see you moms doing because we need that time. So thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me a second.
Yes, thank you so much. And so, Tara, we have a question. Could you share the link for your schedule?
Yes. For those of you that came here for Real Talk, I will send you the link to get the book on Kindle. You can go to Kindle and get that. Let me pull it up here for everybody.
And while you guys are doing that, just as a reminder, we will get in touch with Renee, Rachel, Brianna, Janelle, Pauline, and Laverne and Sadija on your giveaways from this evening. So please look out for an email from us so that we can give you details or attain further details from you. So as Tara is writing that in for us, thank you again so much for joining us this evening for Real Talk. You will receive an email in a few minutes to really for your opinion, for your feedback on how everything went this evening, if we should do this again, if for moms for the next school year, the next month, or if maybe you would like this for your mom group, or for maybe folks that moms that you do know. Of course, do it again. So please, when you receive the email for the survey, please respond to the survey. Just a few minutes. Thank you so much, Melissa. That I appreciate that. I really do. Melissa said this was empowering. So please complete that survey. Let us know how it went. Let us know what your favorite topic was, what we need to expand on next time, so that when we do this again, that it will be more phenomenal each and every time that we get this done. So thank you so much. Tara did put the the Amazon link for her book in the comments. So please be sure to check out her link. Make sure that you check out everybody. Abigail was gracious enough to put everybody's web address here. So please make sure you check out Rose's address to get her book, Allison's email to book your complimentary call with her, Rahila, her address, her web address, so that you can learn more about how she can teach you how to declutter. So make sure you check out everyone to really gain some more insight on what it is to create and master work and life balance. So thank you so much, everyone. You will receive the replay of tonight, so you can watch this over and over and over and over again, and gain more insight. Because, you know, when you watch something again, it's just light bulbs continue to go off that normally wouldn't have gone off when you were in the event. So you will get the replay. But thank you again so much for coming tonight, for spending this time with us. And I really hope that you were blessed by it. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Rahila. You guys have a great night. God bless you. And you guys remember, you are doing a great job. Take care. Good night.